Welcome to this class. Now, in the last class, we did like the inner join and we discovered that the two different tables, now the license table and then the sample repo tables, basically had some columns that were unique, that were not common to both of them, right? So in this class, we will look at how to use other types of join, particularly left join and right join, to take advantage of, basically to take advantage of this flexibility that is available in SQL to satisfy different types of desires. So assuming we basically have, basically on one side we have the repo name that has a watch count. And then on the other side we have some repo names that have a license. Now we want to have all the repo names that have a license, and maybe just as an added benefit, we would like to have, for those ones that have a license, if they have like a watch count, we would like to include it. But if they do not have a watch count, we would like to just leave it, right? So in this case, what we could do here is we just basically now identify. So what we want is we want all cases that have a license. But for the ones that do not have a license, we will like to keep, we will just like to, for those ones that basically have a watch count, we would like to include it in our new data set. We would like to include the watch count field in our new data set. So in this case, what we can do is basically do like something that is like called a left join, right? So a left join will make sure that we have all the repo names from the license, and also we will have all the watch count that is available for this repo set included. And in the cases where it's not available, you have a null. So what do we do here? Maybe for this case, we could include the repo names for both of them. So basically we see like Sam. So sam.repo name, right? And then just to have some kind of consistency, I will include this here, right? So when we run this query, now something interesting is going to happen. So now notice how we call this left. So here, this is the left. The one on top is the left and the one below is the right. So what we are trying to say is we favor the left more than the right. Now, what we see here is when we try to join these two tables, we see that, for instance, we have some repo names that do not have a second repo name in the license table, in the sample table, right? So we do not see this data in the sample repo. However, because we have written a left join, it will still bring this case for the left side, which is basically the license. It will bring for every repo that has a license, you will see it. However, for those ones that don't have a watch count, you will just receive a null. And for the ones that have a watch count, that have a license, you will see them in this data set with a watch count. So what we see here now is we see a situation where some of them have, the full row. So this has like the first repo name, and because the repo name is found in the second table, you will also get a watch count. Now, if it's not found in the second table, you will not get a watch count. So in this type of situation, what is advised is you keep the repo name from the table that has the left side, the left join. And then maybe you can allow this to go. And basically what happens here now is you have cases where there is only null in the case of the watch count. And this basically tells us a story, right? It tells us that for the cases where you find null, you do not have the repo name in the sample repos table. So this is just, a way to pull this type of, data that, basically you're trying to get all the repos that have a license, and if these repos have a watch count, then you want to include it. And so you have some null cases, but you wouldn't have, you have some numbers in the cases where they have a watch count. Now, if we wanted to go the reverse direction, right? So the reverse direction means that we will basically use a right join. And when we do a right join, what happens is basically we favor the table on the right. Now, notice that I said this is the table on the left because, if we were to put it on the same line, we will have this on the left and we'll have this on the right. So basically, this means that if we want to favor the table on the right, then what happens is we will have all the tables that have a watch count, but we'll have the watch count. And for those ones that have a watch count, if they have a license, we will include the license. But if they do not have a license, we will have a null. Now, also, we have to put into mindset that because we are favoring this table to have all its data set, it's very important to have the repo name coming from this side of the data. And then when we run this query, for instance, what we get is this. So we will see that, for all the cases where you find a license, you will get the license, right? So, but you get all the cases with a watch count. So all the table will have a watch count, but not all the table will have a license. So for some cases, we might see some nulls in the license. So maybe we can just scroll to the side and maybe we'll see some cases. So when we go to the last page, we can see that some of the cases actually have a watch count, but they do not have a license. So this is as a result of a right join. So we get every data that is available from the right side of the table, which is the watch count and the repo name. And then we get the one that is available from the license table, as a bonus. So this is what they call the right join. In the next class, I will basically take us, across what we call an outer join. So see you in the next one. Thank you.